And now, Christine Nielsen, why on a soft September night should I care about beaver madness?
Well, I think the most interesting thing about this story is the fact that everyone's scared to talk about it. One guy was afraid that animal rights people would throw rocks through his window if he talked to us. So you may like beavers, but they're becoming a great big nuisance.
Bring on the big rats with the funny tail.
Beaver, the best, most effective, determined little engineer you ever seen. And the worst, rotten little rodent is driving me crazy.
These days, the beaver is ducking trouble. Their dams are getting blasted by guys like Chester Wishart. He's a fur manager with natural resources in the Paw, Manitoba. He says the beaver population is out of control, and it's his job to do something about it.
Let's keep it right up front that we have no other alternatives. Our backs are to the wall.
And you can see why. Last year, beavers pulled this stunt in Haliburton, Ontario. They flooded the road, turned it to mush, and the locals watched Main Street float down the river. And these 30-pound rodents are chomping their way through our national forests. Wood is their meat and potatoes. In Manitoba alone, they eat 400 million pounds of it every year. And what they don't kill with their teeth, they flood with their dams. This pond looks calm on top, but below, disaster's brewing. The Trans-Canada pipeline is buried here, and if water erodes the pipes, there goes our natural gas.
We've had some areas where the power has been knocked out because the beaver has cut the trees down on the line, and as a result, we suffer a blackout. Sections of the road have been washed right out. Recently, we've had a washout of a roadbed for the railroad, and it costs substantial dollars to repair that.
Even the Trans-Canada Highway is under siege. Beavers are blockading major culverts. Humans fight back with their big machines, but brute force is no match for persistence. Beavers rebuild, and the crews have to come back. That gets expensive for us taxpayers. It costs up to $1 million just to fix one big washout. The fact is, there are far too many beavers. In Manitoba, for example, there are 3 times as many as there were 10 years ago, 600,000 to be exact. The government says 200,000 is a healthy number. In Manitoba, beavers are such a nuisance, some municipalities are actually paying people to go out and kill them. So now trappers, farmers, anyone with a special permit can fetch up to $25 for every beaver tail they bring in. It's basically an old-fashioned bounty, but they don't call it that around here. They call it a removal fee or a quiet cash settlement.
It doesn't sound good as a bounty. Like a lot of people I've talked to, they understand a bounty as people chasing criminals for mega dollars.
Harry Plachinsky doesn't make mega bucks as a bounty hunter, but he is about to cash in $20 per tail. He's kind of a local rat catcher, and taxpayers don't mind footing the bill, as long as he doesn't get too trigger happy.
Obviously, I won't be able to kill all the animals, which people think might happen, but that's not true.
A few more dead beavers would suit Chester Wishart just fine.
Little devils are in there, persistent as they can be, and we're going to go down there.
In his war room, he talks strategy with the troops, tracking down the trouble spots and zeroing in on yet another target. Explosives? Isn't he overreacting? No. In fact, Chester's at a disadvantage in this battle. Unlike the bounty hunter, Chester has to demobilize the enemy without killing him. Because if the provincial government blows away beavers and the animal rights type voters hear about it, Chester's neck will be on the block. So instead of killing beavers, Chester blows up their dams. But even this is a secret operation, because a lot of city people think the beavers live in the dam. Not so. They've already scurried off to their houses on the other side of the pond. But it's a losing battle, because at nightfall, the beavers come back to rebuild.
The greatest problem is the organizations that are so critical of us will not listen to what we have to say. We are trying to be very humane and manage a resource, and satisfy the public purse, make it cost effective, and generate some revenue into the economy. But by the same token, we don't want to rock the boat, so to speak.
Rock the boat with who?
With anti-trapping people, I would assume. The public, I think, should be made aware of what's going on and certainly how much it's costing.
If we're running into problems now, it's certainly not the animals' fault. I mean,
Bill Zaretsky is one of the people whose boat Chester Wishart doesn't want to rock. He's Winnipeg's champion of animal rights, and he takes his message everywhere, even to Manitoba's small-town rodeos. The cowboys are not amused when Zaretsky and his gang try to steal the show. Zaretsky may dress like a cowboy, but you'd never catch him riding a horse, because that goes against his animal philosophy. Don't use them, don't wear them, and especially don't eat them.
Every other act here is animal exploitation and animal cruelty. And there's a lot of people who are upset about this, and that's why we're out here today. But we certainly did not expect the show of violence from the other side, which everybody witnessed.
So much so that the whole world got on board, and after enough protests, the seal hunt stopped. Now there are too many seals, and they're dying of disease. The same thing could happen to the beaver.
We normally would expect that the trappers would take the beaver, but with the anti-trapping thrust, we haven't had the people going out. The markets have been killed, and as a result, we have the fur bearers out there. We don't have an opportunity to manage them anymore.
And the trappers have no reason to trap anymore. It's not worth it. 10 years ago, a beaver pelt went for $40 at a fur auction. By last winter, it had dropped to 10, half of what the bounty hunter gets. Trapping has a big image problem.
Some people feel that it is very wrong. I don't believe that they know the real true story of what is occurring, and I think it's only fair that people should be aware.
But it's the anti-trapping propaganda that swayed us. The message in these kinds of videos, killing the fur industry is better than killing animals.
killing them is an easy way out. It's quick and it's cheap, but the life of the animal has to be respected.
That's why Bill Zaretsky says this is the answer. Trap them live and move them somewhere else, out of the human's backyard. But that doesn't work, because wherever you release them, there's going to be a problem. There are no welcome mats for these exiles. Other beavers get pretty hostile when an outsider is dumped in their pond. When one area gets crowded, some of them have to move somewhere else. So the search for a new home begins, and off they go, crossing boundaries, checking out new turf, and staking out territory they hadn't claimed before. More and more often, that's landing them smack on the doorsteps of the city slickers. In Winnipeg, the Department of Natural Resources is fighting for control. Alex Small deals with animals that make a nuisance of themselves. He gets a lot of complaints. At first, he was shy about showing his face on camera because he thought the animal rights people might come after him. But then he figured they have to listen to reason sooner or later.
Animal has rights over there, but you have to destroy some of the animals because they're a nuisance. They have no enemies in there. What are you going to do with them there?
What he's going to do is get rid of those beavers in CN's rail yard. They've been flooding the lines with their dams. But try convincing the guys in suits to talk about it. Beavers are causing big public relations problems for all kinds of officials. CN Rail, for example, refused to talk on camera about the damage beavers are doing to their tracks. They wouldn't confirm that they've hired a trapper, and they sure didn't want to talk about the guys who shoot beavers along the railway. It seems to me that groups like yours are intimidating people into silence.
I don't think it's not intimidation at all. All we've ever done from the beginning is show the other side of the story. If it involves the fur trade or animal experimentation or factory farming, we've just showed what really goes on.
Zipping beaver coats off the assembly line is what's going on here, and more of this would sure lower the beaver population, but there's a long way to go before animal rights people accept that solution.
And I think it's high time that somewhere along the way we sit down with the anti-trapping people and reach a amicable solution, because this cannot go on.